Southeastern.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will have our student reps lead us, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Kristen Cambenzi,
Here.
Glenn Sarka,
Here.
James Hewitt,
Here.
Jennifer Cliff,
Here.
Jennifer Ray,
Here.
Cheryl Maddox Smith,
Here.
Jason Zadunik,
Here.
Okay, and I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Maddox Smith, support by Mr. Hewitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the superintendent's report. I believe we're going to start with the recognition of our student school board representatives. All right. Thanks to our student school board representatives this year, Callie Tonella and Sienna Goodney. Both Callie and Sienna are Marquette Senior High School Student Council Ombudsman. You guys good staying there? Or do you want to come up? Okay, well, we'll start with Callie. Callie Tonella is the daughter of Ashley and Charles Tonella. Am I saying your name right? Yeah. Okay. I get worried. Is a senior at Marquette Senior High School. In addition to serving as a student school board ombudsman for the last 2 years and a grade representative for 1 additional year, Callie is also a member of the MSHS varsity dance team. This year, the dance team got to go to Florida and dance at a college bowl game halftime show. She is also a member of the National Honor Society and the MSHS Honor Roll. Is a member of Health Occupations, Students of America, and was the January Kiwanis Female Student Athlete of the Month. Callie plans to attend Northern Michigan University to pursue a nursing degree as well as being on their dance team. And so we have a certificate of appreciation, and we have a pen for being part of our board. And then Sienna Goodney, saying that correctly too? All right, good. Is the daughter of Carrie and Jeff Goodney and is a junior at Marquette Senior High School. She has been on the student council for the past 2 years and has been elected as the vice president of student council for the 2024-2025 school year. In addition to serving as a student council ombudsman for last year, Sienna is also part of the varsity soccer team and the MSHS chorale. She sings the national anthem at many school and sporting events. She is also a member of the National Honor Society and the MSHS Honor Roll. Sienna plans to go to college and get her doctorate to become an anesthesiologist. And then on behalf of the school board, I would like to thank Callie and Sienna for the invaluable input that they provide at our meetings. All right, thank you ladies so much for being part of our board. And then Mr. Cedric?
Yes, thank you. A little bit on enrollment before we move on the agenda. So I guess in summary, status quo would be the best description for what we're projecting from this year to next year. This year, we have approximately 3,203 students. That does not include Father Marquette, and we're gonna land almost the same place next year, depending on school of choice and additional kindergarten enrollment. But speaking of kindergarten, we have already 278 students signed up for kindergarten. That includes junior kindergarten for the fall. And that is inclusive of 40 school of choice students, notable figure, higher than I remember in the past. So 278 already. Last year we had 281 when we started in the fall. So we're already just a few short of where we were last year. The reason we're status quo is that we are losing a larger group of seniors. Total senior population or enrollment 278. So when I said 278, it's literally the same as what we're losing. So that is the reason why we're at status quo. I did want to mention also that we are again planning on having 4 sections of JK, which is somewhat new. At least since I've taken over, we've made every effort to ensure there's a JK in every building, and we are going to do the same in the fall, and then 10 sections of kindergarten on top of that, so 14 sections of JK and K. Again, that doesn't include Father Marquette, and it does not include some of our ECSC population as well. We'll have more definite figures once the school year starts. Good sign, particularly in light of some of the enrollment projections, which I had previously shared with the board, which indicates declining enrollment based on those birth rates, county birth rates. So good news for now. There's no questions on enrollment. I was going to move on to facilities. Any questions on enrollment?
I just wanted to clarify, you used the word that we're losing seniors. Am I to understand we just have a large senior class that will be graduating, and so we're not losing seniors because they're moving elsewhere their senior
Correct.
year?
No. Yes, thank you for the clarification. Good question. Yes, we are graduating 278 seniors and bringing in 278 kindergartners, so thus the
Gotcha, thank you.
balance. Any other questions? Okay, moving on. So I asked Isaac Roberts to come and talk about the Outdoor Learning Spaces project, which we've been discussing for some time. Tonight we'll be talking about Graveret and Superior Hills.
Yeah, good evening. So we are currently working at Graveret and Superior Hills on the Outdoor Learning Center. We sent both projects out to bid. We received 2 bids for each project. Graveret, we received bids from Ultras Construction Services and Primo, and Superior Hills, we received bids from Smith Construction and Primo Construction. Provided letters of recommendations for the projects moving forward. At Graveret, we're going to increase their learning area. If you're familiar enough with Graveret, it's between 2 small blocks. It doesn't have a whole lot of space for kids to play, and the terrain does allow for I'll call blind areas of the property, which puts a little bit more hindrance on the supervisors. Superior Hills, they're working on putting in more natural playground features for kids to learn at, and that's pretty much the project in summary. I can go into more detail if you have any questions.
There's no questions.
No
We've been
questions.
talking about this for some time now. It's great to see it coming to fruition, and that we had multiple bids on these projects is a good sign. So
Yep.
timeline, Isaac, if you would.
Timeline, both projects will start once school is out of session, and we have substantial completion date, which is the majority of the projects, August 16th, and then final completion where the project needs to be completed in its whole by August 30th. So prior to school getting out, that's what we have on the schedule for now. Superior Hills does have a lot of products that are need to be shipped here, so if there's any delay in shipping, those dates, might extend a little bit, but we'll work with the contractor to make sure that any work that might be done during school hours is done in a safe manner to where kids are not affected at all.
Thank you, Isaac. Just to recap, the high school, we have our CTE wing getting a new roof. Our science labs will be going under construction here shortly. At the alternative school, PA systems. At Bothwell, we're finishing up the HVAC project as we speak. Cherry Creek and Superior Hills are getting PA systems. Sandy Knoll, Superior Hills, Cherry Creek, and Grave Rat are all getting outdoor learning spaces, though Cherry Creek will be likely tabled until next summer. I guess in short, we have a lot of projects going on, which is exciting and also a lot to manage. So without the help of Isaac and GEI and then Travis and his team at IDI, I do not think that we would possibly be set up for any level of success with that much going on. So thank you, Isaac, and everyone else for your assistance. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to approving the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 22nd, 2024, the minutes of closed sessions of April 2024, minutes of the Committee of the Whole and special meeting of May 6, 2024, the personnel report dated May 2024, and the financial reports of April 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Mrs. Klipp. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Board committee reports. Committee of the Whole special meeting of May 6, 2024. Pretty much in that meeting, we heard a wonderful presentation by Matt Sia and adopted a new logo for MSHS. So, student school board representatives report.
So we just had prom this past weekend, and that was a success. And now we are just planning the seniors' last day.
Thank you. Moving on to comments from the public. Ms. Brum?
Margaret Brum, 404 East Magnetic Street. I have 3 matters to bring to the board's attention. The first matter is that a hearing has been scheduled in Marquette Circuit Court on Friday, May 24th, 2024 at 3:45 p.m. in Judge Andrew Griffin's Circuit Court Room number S to discuss the appeal I filed of the rejection of the recall language. This hearing is between myself and the Board of Elections for Marquette County. As such, the school board members are not per se parties to the hearing. I wanted to make sure everybody knew, because it's a public hearing, it's open to the public. Anybody can attend. You're simply not allowed to speak unless it is your right and privilege to hire counsel to file an amicus curiae brief on your behalf, which the court would then have to consider. But I didn't want anybody to think that they were excluded. It's a public court hearing, okay? That's number one. Number two, I filed a Freedom of Information Act request relative to the invoices the Marquette School Board had paid during the months of February and March. I wish to bring to the board's attention, and I honestly don't know if the board reviews these invoices as a whole or as a group, or if you delegate it or what. So I'm just going to say what I found on page 45 of the report in March. There's an item listed to a law firm called Molosky, M-O-L-O-S-K-Y and Company, dated March 1st, 2024, for services rendered between March 1st, 2024 and March 12th, 2024 in the amount of $19,847.51. And the note given for these services is 3 words: professional services dash embezzlement. I say again, this is a law firm in Petoskey. They are listed on a website. From what I could see, they're a business law firm. I'm not familiar with them at all. However, the write-up here says they were hired to do professional services embezzlement, and the amount $19,847.51 is considerable. And of course, whatever was discussed with this law firm is board privileged comment. There's no right of the public to know what it was. However, considering the overall embezzlement was $100,000, and this amount is close to 1/5 of that amount, I would request that the board consider making some sort of statement as why, as the victim of an embezzlement, there was a choice made to hire a business lawyer to provide some sort of professional services counseling to the board. In my professional experience, it's unusual for the victim of a crime to hire their own lawyer. And again, because the amount of money is so considerable and our budget is so restricted, I would request that some statement be made. Furthermore, the last thing is, I was here when you did the logo. I have a couple things to say that are based on my professional experience, but also based on being a taxpayer. I knew what the logo looked like that Friday night because I saw where your attorney out of Wisconsin had filed multiple trademark applications. I knew when I saw the trademark applications that the drawing had been done not by a human, but by artificial intelligence. I could go into chapter and verse about how I knew, but basically it has to do with the symmetry of the logo. As such, because it was done by a computer under US copyright law, the design itself is not protectable. In other words, the trademark application is separate from the design. But when you submit a design to the Copyright Office, you have to have a human associated with it. For example, I hired an artist on my own to modify the design. They came up with this design. It was hand-drawn and hand put together, and I filed a copyright application on it over the weekend. That's how you do a design. The design that you have, which has been filed multiple trademark applications, is subject to challenge by anyone who already owns a design. And you don't have to take my word for it. If you look on Facebook, multiple people have posted designs. The one I just found that I put on my Facebook page was a series out of Google showing multiple Sentinel helmet designs. In other words, please check with your counsel in Wisconsin as to whether that design is protectable, or whether you do indeed need to have it redrawn by a human so that you can get a copyright on it and then file additional trademark applications that are protectable. And in terms of a freedom to operate, I wasn't asked to give an opinion on that, but I would recommend that you have your counsel give you a freedom to operate opinion to save money for the board. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business. Consider adoption of the 2024 through 2025, 2025 through 2026, and 2026 through 2027 3-year calendar. I believe everyone has a copy of that in there.
I'll make a motion to adopt the calendar as presented in our packet.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Ms. Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Consider awarding of the MSHS CTE roof replacement project to Bell Roofing as recommended. I believe that is also in your packet.
You're looking for a motion?
Yes. Zach, do you have anything about the bid or before we vote or make a motion?
I don't really have anything to add. Isaac was there with us. It's an enormous amount of roof to replace. There's multiple layers. It's thick with the material that I'm not quite sure all that's layered in that roof, but it's quite an extensive project. And I think the bid that we received from Bell Roofing was very reasonable, especially when compared to the other bid.
Is the contingency allowance generally larger than that? Is the contingency allowance usually greater than $10,000 on a $400,000 project?
You want to speak to that, Isaac? Contingency? I think.
Yeah, the contingency allowance depends on the type of project. More elaborate projects require, higher percentages, given that it's a remove and replace of a roof that's pre-existing. We're not expecting a whole lot of uncertainty with the project.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to award the contract to Bell Roofing in the amount of $417,000, which includes a $10,000 contingency allowance.
I'd make a motion to award the contract to Bell Roofing for the replacement of the CTE roof.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Zedunick, support by Mrs. Klipp. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Consider awarding the Graver Elementary School Outdoor Learning Project to Ultra Construction LLC as recommended.
I'll make the motion to award the outdoor learning project to Ultra Construction as recommended.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Mr. Zedunick. Any comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Consider awarding the Superior Hills Elementary School Outdoor Learning Project to Primo Construction Incorporated as recommended.
Make a motion to award the Superior Hills Outdoor Learning Project to Primo Construction as included in the bid.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Zedunick, support by Mrs. Klipp. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consider adoption of the resolution for local district consideration of Marisa's 2024-2025 budget. Do we have any background or anything for this, or?
I think the biggest change you'll see in the Marisa budget is a program called Talent Together, which I believe I've updated the board on periodically. It's part of the Grow Your Own initiative in the state of Michigan, trying to increase the teacher pipeline. So that program is, I should say, Marisa is acting as a fiduciary for that statewide program. So there's an enormous amount of money that's in and out. I think that when you look at that budget, those numbers are quite a bit higher than what you've seen in the past. So that would be the one comment I would make.
Bless you. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to adopt the Marisa's budget.
I'll make a motion to adopt the Marisa budget for 2024-25.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Ray, support by Mr. Hewitt. Any discussion?
Do we have any idea for, under the breakdown for supporting services, where other support, it's identified as $15 million, what that constitutes?
Good question. I would be happy to get you some more information, but as I mentioned previously, the Talent Together is money in and money out. So you'll see that on the revenue side and the expenditure side, much larger figures than you would normally see for Marisa as far as the local staff. Again, these staff members are working statewide, over 50 ISDs and all of the mini districts go with those ISDs. It's an enormous undertaking, and it's really money in, money out for Marisa, acting as a fiduciary, but it does show up in their budget. So they are significantly higher, both revenues and expenditures, than years past, but I don't see a great impact on the local activity of Marisa.
No, and I think that is a comment that we made to them last year too, that, because I remember other was a very large number with no context to it. And, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd still like to know.
Well, if you'd like, I could have somebody from Marisa come and give more detail on the budget. They've offered that. I'm sure they'd be happy to come and provide more detail.
It'd be nice to know if that, I mean, is that state money coming in, or is that netting out from that federal revenue, and then what areas that's targeted for? Is that kind of services that they're doing that's available only for on an annual basis, or is that something like that's an ongoing project, like a 3-year project? Is that revenue that's going to continue? Just a little bit more with such a large number. It would be nice to get a little bit.
Yeah, great questions. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Talent Together, this is the second year of Talent Together, so it was the same anomaly last year. It's actually less than it was last year. And I just am not the right person to answer those questions, to be honest. I'd be happy to bring somebody from Marisa to answer those questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, if we presented a budget and it said other, and it was $15 million, I mean, we'd get questioned. I mean, and the reality is too that whether we adopt or don't their budget, it doesn't affect them at all.
Right.
I was actually going to ask Mr. Sedgwick, do we know typically, it's always brought up in May of each year because it has a deadline behind it. Do we have enough time for somebody to come and present on us before it's relevant for the vote?
No, we don't.
If I recall, Marisa can enact the budget regardless of whether or not MAP supports the budget. They have, it looks like their feedback is they're looking for any changes or comments by June 1st. So
no.
we wouldn't have that before.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of expecting, so.
15 million would be great to get some clarity on for a whole host of reasons, particularly conversation that's always sort of been in the background. On the other hand, I'm really grateful that Marisa is handling this piece, because I know that in other districts, especially rural districts, sometimes that gets punted to the actual district, and that is a level of management, and then you have to get the horsepower in there to do that. Seems like it would be really streamlined, and it's anything but. So districts end up being can be on the line for, in a lot of cases, a 1.5 position at a pretty decent rate that this cannot be covered by, some of the funding and grant money in there. So I'm real grateful that we're not having to stuff somebody in a closet at Central or divvy up all the different pieces to our existing already stressed or under-stressed
No, I think
central office folks.
we're all definitely grateful for Marisa
Yep.
and the stuff that they do. I guess just as, another organization that has to approve budgets.
Oh, right.
Just,
It's just a beast, I guess, was my point. Like this, it's kind of trying to drink water from a fire hose, but I agree, 15 million with no clarity, it seems like common sense would say attach some clarity to that.
Yeah. So I guess I would still entertain, we had support and a motion and support. Do we have any further discussion?
So my understanding, just so I'm clear, that whether we vote yes or no on this, I mean, is it more of a symbolic vote, essentially?
Exactly.
Correct. So we have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
Opposed.
So the motion passes 6-1.
If we could just get additional clarification,
Yeah.
Yeah.
from
that-
Mr. Said at a following meeting, whether it's committee of the whole or, you know, whether it's just a written statement is, or in person is fine.
Yep,
Right.
yes, happy to oblige.
And next year, if we can get it to us sooner, so we can, if there are issues, we can raise them rather than feel like.
Sure.
Mhm.
Good point.
All right, consider MASB membership and legal trust fund renewal.
Make a motion to renew our annual MASB membership and legal trust fund.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Hewitt, support by Mrs. Maddox Smith. I don't know, I mean, this is an annual thing that we do. I don't know that there's anything, any background that we need for this, or that you have, Mr. Sedgwick?
Another formality.
Okay. Yeah. So we have motion and support. Any discussion?
I guess I'll just, not because I know the details, but I do believe it's typically been said that this annual renewal cost is pretty minimal in terms of the services we actually take advantage of and receive from them, if I'm not mistaken.
For sure.
Yes, MASB provides us a great service and we consult with them often.
Mrs. Hopper, just out of curiosity, I don't have to abstain from this or anything because I'm on their board.
Good question. I don't think so.
Okay, 'cause I don't get any-
If our board is going to.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. All right, so we have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to board member comments. We will start with Mrs. Maddox Smith.
I just want to thank both Callie and Sienna for being on our board, being a part of our board. It's always a pleasure to hear what you guys tell us what's going on in the school. Looking forward to all the facility stuff that's going on. Can't wait to see all that happening. That's about it. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Zdenek.
I don't have any additional comments right now, thank you.
Mrs. Clip.
Just to echo, wish you guys good luck. Will you be back as a junior? How will that work? Well, I know the senior will be graduating, but you're a junior. So will you be serving in this capacity again next year, or does that depend on elections that haven't happened yet?
We already had our elections, and I will be serving as the vice president next year.
Okay, well, great. And then just wish everybody a really good end of the year, and for teachers and kids and bus drivers and everybody involved with kids, 'cause this is the time. So,
Oh, Ms. Ray.
No further comments. Thanks.
Mr. Hewitt.
Nothing additional, thank you.
Mr. Sarka.
Thank you, Callie. I was gonna wear a suit that matched your sweater, and at the last second I changed, so I'm glad I did that, because otherwise that would have been embarrassing. And I now have learned how to use a button on my thing. Just enjoy this summer. You know, don't work that extra shift. Go see the sunset, go see the sunrise. You don't want to look back and say, I missed my year after my senior year. You know, an extra shift at work can wait. Have some fun, enjoy it. Once you get started with college, it gets busy, and then you look back and wish you could. So enjoy the heck out of this summer.
Board president comments. Just thank you for being a part of our board. You know, it is always great to hear the student voices and to find out what's going on and what interests you guys. So we appreciate it very much. Moving on to announcements and other meetings, May 21st, which is tomorrow, local scholarship ceremony awards in the high school gym at 6:30. May 22nd, Kauffman Awards at Kauffman Auditorium at 7 p.m. May 24th is the last day for seniors. May 27th is Memorial Day, no school. May 29th is the MAHS graduation at Kauffman Auditorium at 5:30. May 31st is the MSHS graduation at the MSHS football field at 6 p.m. June 5th is going to be the celebration to honor teachers of the year, support staff of the year, and retirees here in the library at 6 p.m. June 11th is the last day of school, half day for all students. June 24th is our budget hearing and regular board meeting here in the library at 5:30. And then I would entertain a motion to recess to closed session in the central office boardroom under section 8C of the OMA to discuss negotiations.
Make a motion to go into closed sessions to discuss negotiations.
Support.
Motion made by Mr. Zadinek, support by Mr. Sarka. Roll call?
We
Yeah.
just can do a regular announcement.
Oh, we can just do regular, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.